guys, and welcome back to my YouTube channel, Trigger Acid Darling. Thank you guys so much for clicking once again. If you're new to this channel, please consider subscribing. And to all my OGs, you know what to do. Comment down below, let me know, gang. Now today, to cut to the chase, I have Canadian news. Those of you that have been following me, you know what it means to have Canadian news. So let's just get right to it. We've been expecting a lot of changes. I mean, from last year, anything I tell you that is a change right now, just shrug, because IRCC has announced new changes. This is for study, and one of the things they mentioned here was something I predicted earlier this year when I was doing the analysis as to what we can be looking out for. I remember on my last video, I said, okay, you know what, draws are back, category draws are here. There are many students that are coming in for study that actually qualify for PRO Direct. I've done several videos about that, and I think that you should look at those options. Those of you that say they sent me email, please resend, because I cannot see again. The email box is so full, I feel like I get panic attack going down. Anyways, thank you so much for your understanding. Now let's get right into this one. It's coming from Vinod. He has an immigration service, but this is what he wrote as of July. He said IRCC announced new changes for Canada study visa updates. The first one is the college and university transfer restrictions. Now, this is something I always said, there used to be a loophole where people were able to do this, but IRCC is seriously, somebody was saying that Mac Miller sleeps and dreams of international students, because this is not funny anymore. Now, let me read it. It says international students in Canada will no longer be able to change their college or university after arriving in the country without reapplying for study permits. This change ensures that students remain enrolled in the institution for which they were originally granted a visa. Guys, when they started this PAL, the first thing I said is, what measures do you have? Because if I, as Seneca, I have only 50 slots, and I give somebody one of my slots, what if you come into the country and I'm expecting that 20,000 whatever tuition from you, and then you come in and you change to Centennial or you change to Humber? Like, what are the chances? I knew that these conversations will get to the table, and I'm sure that these are the concerns that schools have raised. The fact that sometimes they grant admission, these students use the admission, get, the visas, come into Canada and change. I'm sorry right now. The change that we are looking at, not set in stone, but already in effect, is that you can no longer change your school. So think very well. The province you're going to, think very well the school you're applying to, because it's not something that, oh my God, let me just apply for this school that it doesn't even give DLI or anything, but let me enter, Carelessness is not going to be rewarded in 2024, whether financially or just your personal life. Just being careless does not have any reward. We cannot just rough it. You have to think properly. If you're going to New Brunswick, think properly. Set things in place. Give yourself the desired number of years. Don't say, oh, I'll tell them I'm going to New Brunswick. I'll change my mind and go to Manitoba. You're going to run into issues, especially because you know that you have a PRO application ahead. Sometimes Canada can be very slow. They will not even answer you. They will allow you to finish the school. Time for PRO. There's so many rejections. I'm going to do a separate video about that. A lot of people are running into major issues, borderline on major issues that had to do with their study period, now that they have gotten ITA to submit for PRO. It is not funny anymore. I'll do a separate video for that, but this is point number one. The second one, direct reporting to IRCC. He said previously colleges and universities reported to their respective provincial governments. However, the new regulation required direct reporting to IRCC. This change helps to streamline the process and improve the oversight of the educational institutions. I feel like this is a long time coming, because there is no way you will say students are many and you really do not have the numbers, because sometimes they act like they are all quarreling. Maybe the federal government is a different party and the provincial government is a different party, so they don't exchange books or whatever. But when the college is reporting to provincial now has to report to federal, that IRCC will now come and have access to the, it's a lot. But now that there's PAL system in place for the schools to report directly to IRCC, helps us, so that if the school says they have given one person PAL, at least IRCC should see that this person is authentic and then maybe give the person visa faster. Guys, let me know your thoughts. I don't really see this point as a bad thing. I feel like in the long run, Directly reporting to IRCC helps to streamline certain rejections. There are some rejections that don't make sense. So the school is like, okay, you applied in July, you can meet up for September. I'm giving you PAL by next week. You apply for visa, and then you're getting rejected. The school is seeing their body. They have told IRCC, I've given this Joy or Amaka, I've given her visa. I've given her PAL. IRCC, she's confirmed. And then the visa process is easier. For me, this is how I see this part. But guys, let me know your thoughts. The third one is new study application requirements. If a student wishes to change their college or program, they must submit a new study application and obtain new study permits. Wow. This requirement helps IRCC to keep track of students' educational activities and ensure compliance with visa conditions. Now, the first one, of course, was, college restrictions. You cannot change the college. But now, they say even when you want to change, not only would you need a new study permit, you actually need to apply as if you're applying for fresh visa, study permit. This is crazy, but for them, they are saying that this is the only way IRCC can keep track of your educational requirements. I know that there are people that have gotten into issues because consolidating their data shows that maybe when they started, they put in for engineering in New Brunswick. They came into Canada. They said no, they will do PSW in Ontario. They reach there, they say, my head cannot carry. Because engineering is 4 years, they use that their 4 years permit to school hop, from one point to the other. And now, time for your PRO. We are seeing so many applications like, why is your data looking like this? I get it. This is the angle I think they are coming from. But guys, let me know your thoughts. The last one that he wrote here is enrollment and status tracking. Institutions are now required to report the enrollment status of their students directly to IRCC. This includes providing information on whether students are attending classes, progressing in their studies. This measure allows IRCC to monitor students more effectively and take action if necessary. Guys, let me know your thoughts. I predicted this one when they said they wanted to do their, PAL system. I said, okay, remember, soon they will start looking at results. They will not just give PGWP like that. All this is geared towards postgraduate work permits. They will start looking at not just like the proof of you just being in school, attendance. So you cannot come into school and not be in school. It's not going to work anymore. Guys, let me know your thoughts. It's not going to work. So those of you that want to come through school, attendance is now something. Not just attendance, you have to actually be doing well. That's why they said your progress in study. Remember that there was a time UK started doing like, if you fail, you can't get like the postgraduate work permit. And I said Elizabeth's triplets, they compare results. The three of them, they sit down and say, what's going on with what's your challenge, and they compare. Focus on school. So now with this particular one, it's not even advisable for you to go and take a course that you know that you will fail. You cannot just come and say, I know that IT is in. They say they want IT. You go and do software engineering that your head cannot carry. And you waste money and you literally struggle and fail all your courses. And you say, after all, even though I pass or I fail, let me just do basic pass mark. They will still give me it's going to be a problem. Your progress in class is going to be monitored, and the last thing you want is for your set to be the scapegoat set. Go for programs that you know very well, that you are ready to learn or you have background knowledge about. It helps a lot. Go to places where you know that you can cool down and study this thing. Now, I would even advise, if you're even going to come with school and probably you're a matured candidate and the moment we start making money, going to school is actually very annoying. Try to come with your spouse or somebody that is going to work, because one person that is going to go to school has to focus on school. You cannot gone are the days where you just dilly-dally. Right now, guys, let me know your thoughts in the comment section. I know, sometimes I don't want to keep doing like back-to-back videos of all the things we are hearing, because it creates a sense of fear. I get it. But let me even tell you, the first step to maturing is to ride above fear. You have to always ride above fear. Do not get to the point where, hey, they said this thing, you panic. They said you need to have plans that are fear-proof. Highest, this thing I'm telling you now, if you had planned to change your school, That is plan A. I'm expecting you, as somebody that have watched this channel consistently, to know that we do not do one plan on this channel. We have A, B, C, D, E, F. At least 6 plans, 6 ways that we must get what we want. So if one is already having K-leg, you go to 2. How can I fast track 2? What's the thing I like saying on this channel concerning my process? For me personally, I said, what I wanted, if I say, okay, my PR, I've gotten my card, I've gotten everything, glory be to God. But I wanted a situation whereby I can get my goal as fast as possible with the minimum finance and less stress. My mental faculty should be okay. I need speed. I don't need to waste money, and I need to be sure that my mental capacity is okay. If I know that I don't have the capacity to contain series and series of rejection and bad news, I was not in any group. There is nothing wrong with it, because the truth is sometimes success and failure has an effect on you, because you would listen to somebody's success story, you start comparing results. You listen to somebody's failure story, you start being afraid. It has effect. But when you put your mind that, see, what are the steps? There is no way you watch this. Like, come on, guys. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. At some point, I just feel like some people just don't want to do it. And I get that there's a certain crop of you. I'm going to report you today. You've been watching this channel. You have Canada in mind, but you have not started. Like, you're in Nigeria, you just say, IRCC, I just like watching your channel. I know, like, this Canada thing, it's there, but, you know, one of these days I'll think about my sister, brethren, brother, love. I don't know how to tell you that the time you're going to think about Canada, we will need to reevaluate. It might seem like my old videos might no longer work. I have to give you updated video as to where the mind of the people are, as to where whatever is happening on ground is happening. It has been a lot. Okay, guys, let me know your thoughts. And as for the mental capacity of people, it's not being funny. So if you have friends that are in Canada, please reach out to them. It has not been easy, seriously. Not just the fact that, okay, reach out to only students. There are even people that have been in the country for a while. They've gotten to a place where they are just tired. So if you have a friend in Canada, please reach out to them. It might really help. Now, we got reports that the Canada Border Service Agency is turning back many Indian and Nigerian visitors from Canadian airports, alternatively offering them to file for refugee status. If this is anything true, it is actually a problem. For me, I would advise, like, when you're coming, I did a video talking about those coming in as visitors. When you're coming with visitor status, have your ducks in a row. You cannot show up to the border agent and they say, what are you here for? And you do not know what you're here for. You do not know, see, everything. I get that there's tension, there's anxiety, there's everything. At some point, when I did the video about Canada boom is over, and I talked about the turning back of people from the borders, I said something. I said, one of the things you need to note is that there are certain borders that are the problem spots. There are certain people that, if you have anxiety, just please say, I'm just very nervous. This is what I like. Calm down, because the truth is nobody should panic you into perjury or into lying or something, or panic you to the point where the document is in your hand and you really do not know what to say. Practice, and practice. There are some people that have legitimate reasons to be in Canada for visit, but they get to the border and they forget, and it's very okay. Do not accept refugee status, especially if that's not what you want. Somebody says, oh no, you're going to go back to your country, or I give you refugee. No. I don't need to be a refugee in your country. I came to visit and leave. Because sometimes that might even be a trick. Oh, guys, let me know your thoughts. Anyways, Toronto Star has the full reports for this particular story. I don't know if I should just run through it. For those of you that will really benefit from that, let me run through the actual report from Toronto Star. It says Canada to stop processing study permits for colleges, universities that fail to track international students. These are the proposed regulations. These proposed regulations would compel the schools to report to the immigration department whether a student is attending school and complying with permit requirements. The federal government plans to suspend processing study permit for post-secondary students if the school fails to keep track of the international students' enrollment. The proposed regulations will compel colleges and universities to report to the Federal Immigration Department whether a student is attending school and complying with all study permit requirements. The move is part of recent attempts to restore confidence in Canada's international student program. Under the plan unveiled in the Canada Gazette, students must also apply for new study permits whenever they want to switch schools and before the start date of the new study program. In flexing its muscles to ensure compliance, the federal government is treading a fine line as governance of the educational system falls under provincial jurisdiction. That is what has always kept this study permit thing and student enrollment thing in a mess. Because the Canada law states that falls under provincial. And I feel like I've always said there are many things in their country that doesn't make sense. Because when it comes to situations like this that can impact, immigration, federal government has to actually be aware of how this thing is being handled. Let me know your thoughts. So it goes on to say the immigration department is responsible for the entry of international students, establishing the conditions that study permit holders must meet while in Canada and deciding whether a study permit should be issued. Although Ottawa only grants study permits to DLIs, it's the provinces that designate if a college or university is authorized to admit international students. So the permit that gives colleges the authorization to admit international students is on the province. So when we have lots of these false colleges, we should blame Doggy. That's what I'm hearing. I'm hearing blame Ontario government for all these room and parlor colleges. Abi, did you hear a different thing? Anyways, it goes on to say, as a result, federal officials have had a tough time monitoring what goes on after a student enters Canada. They don't know if a student is enrolled in the school named in their study permit or if they are actually studying until they need to extend a permit or apply for post-graduation work permits. So that's what I was saying, like, the government does not know. When you come in, they don't know if you're college hopping until the next thing they see, there's an application for PGWP. The school might not even match. The province might not even match. And it creates a lot of problems, okay? So now this particular one, if you look at it in retrospect, it also helps the student in long term, and it helps us know that the colleges have our back. Also, it makes sure that those coming to school are schooling. Do you get that kind of thing? So the next step says the regulatory amendments would allow IRCC to effectively respond to integrity challenges and address common occurrences of unethical behaviors that undermine the integrity of the program, according to the government notice recently published for public consultation. Now, what they do here is they have regulations and they publish it. And I think we have till July ending or so if we want to protest any of these points or something like that, I guess. I don't know how it works, but let me continue reading. It said in 2023, Canada welcomed more than 1 million study permit holders compared to 352,305 in 2015. The fast-growing international student program has been in the spotlight amid aggressive recruitments in the post-secondary education sector and by unregulated foreign agents. Migrants increasingly look at studying in Canada as a backdoor to working and earning permanent residence here. International students have been scapegoated for the country's housing crisis, healthcare shortages, and social tensions, prompting Immigration Minister Mac Miller to introduce a 2-year study cap on new study permits issued. The proposed changes are part of a plan to establish a trusted institution framework this fall. You know, we still have to September when he will unleash everything. So it meant to vet designated learning institutions and speed up the study permit processing from trusted schools as an incentive for the sector to admit students responsibly. Immigration officials said the amendments will give them the tools to ensure only genuine colleges and universities will be eligible for study permits and pursue those who fail to play by the rules. Designated learning institutions will be given 10 days to respond to Immigration Department's request to confirm a student's acceptance to enter the program on study permits. They would also have 60 days to file a compliance report about enrollment status of each student and whether they are actively pursuing their course. Now listen, this part is very important. They said the DLIs will have 10 days to respond to IRCC's request to confirm that the student has been accepted. So if they start to process it, this might mean speed for study visas. They will send the school, confirm that this lady was accepted her offer. And you know, some terms of acceptance involves you paying your fees. And when you confirm, IRCC probably will just, fast-track your study visa process. And then they also said that the schools will have 60 days to file a compliance report about the enrollment status of each student and whether they are actively pursuing their course. So whether you have your lecturers to make sure that they know you're answering questions in school, so that whenever they call for compliance reports, all your school attendance and everything is on point. Guys, let me know your thoughts. It goes on to say officers could initiate a random check. Hey, gang. This is the part. That's why I see, for those of you that stay tuned now, man, happy are you? Because reading the confirmed reports, they said officers could initiate a random check or make a request if there is reason to suspect a letter of acceptance was improperly issued or if a school has not complied with conditions in the past. Now, those of you that are attending schools that nobody knows, this paragraph is for you. There are some schools I hear. I don't know how you found the school. It is not your responsibility to put any school above water in terms of their revenue. Please go to schools that are trusted. You cannot even be a victim of a school's non-compliance in the past. There are many people that can hang the moment they start to shut down schools. Imagine bringing a CV from a school that has question mark, and then you're innocent and you even paid them a fee. Please make sure your school is a good school. This one is not for, I heard it's good. Do your research. Anyways, it goes on to say, in determining whether an institution is to be placed on suspension list and the penalty period, officials would consider factors such as the frequency and the seriousness of non-compliance, the efforts made to comply with the conditions, and the level of the school's cooperation during the verification process. The immigration minister would make a final decision as to whether a school should be put on a suspension list, which will be published. A non-compliant institution could be placed on the list for up to 12 consecutive months. During the suspension, all study permits applications to that school will be returned to the applicants. They can return it. So what will you do with it? Like, why are you returning? Why are you returning my study permit application? Because it's going to be weird. If you go to this, and be very honest, make sure you're going to good schools. Ask you what is a good school. Go and Google it. Google the good school. I've done it. In fact, I have a video down in my, if you see, when you need to seek knowledge, seek it way. Go down in my list of videos. How to choose a school is there. There's a video how I chose my school. Everything I did. Watch that video, because repeating it is weird. The next one says the government said the proposed changes are the result of extensive consultation, though it received mixed reaction from its provincial counterparts on whether it's appropriate to suspend the issuance of study permits to non-compliant institutions, citing concerns that greater federal authorities may encroach on their education mandates. That's this one now is provincial versus federal. The changes are estimated to cost almost 87 million in the present value over 10 years, covering government implementation, costs to designated learning institutions, as well as costs to study permit holders who wish to change schools. The regulatory amendments also include increasing the weekly off-campus work hours for international students to 24 hours from 20 hours, as Miller previously announced. He has announced this one. Remember, 24 hours is starting in September or so. So all these amendments are going to come into effect. This change will help international students offset increasing cost of living, according to the government. The public has until July 29th to comment on the proposed changes. So that's the part I was talking about. When they put changes like this and they publish, you read it, consume it. Both your school, both your province, everybody has time to react. So you can see some people raising petitions to change one part or change another part, but we have until July 29th before, I'm sure, Mac Miller will wear his suit and come and give another video. So guys, let me know your thoughts in the comment section. Personally, I don't think anything can shock us. Being in this Canada alone is a shock. Surviving every single day with all the multiple, announcements. But one thing you really need to know if you're going to be considering schooling, please have your ducks in a row. Be financially stable, because if your attendance is now part of your study permits, if your attendance is now part of your work permit requirements, it is more than necessary for you to have enough money just in case you will not have the time to work. Do you understand? Like, they say, okay, you have time to work, you might not see work. If you see the work, you might not see the time. It's a slippery slope. And for those that actually need, to make money while they're schooling, your best bet might be to bring your spouse. And the only way that can happen right now is to go for a master's. So I really do not advocate anybody that is not a single or a smaller, single person or a younger student going through diploma or certification programs. I think they have run their course as to their importance to an international student. It is best you go straight for a master's program. Find the most affordable one. Find the one that works around you, so that you can be able to get all the perks, because masters and PhD people are the only ones that are sort of immune to random changes that might happen as concerning study permits and the rest of them. All right, guys, thank you so much for watching. Your girl is off downtown because summer is here. I have to go and enjoy myself. That's why I've prepped up. Let me call him that. Say I'll try to edit this video as fast as possible and put it up today. Thank you so much for watching. I'm your girl Darling. Please check out my other videos and I'll see you in my next one. Bye, guys.